of domestic violence in Nigeria, of course, has been on the rise. It's been very worrisome. Day after day, well, maybe before it used to be like month after month, but or weeks after weeks. But every day now we hear different kind of domestic violence. The man against the woman against the man, or the children being the victim. It's on the rise, and it's very, very worrisome. All right, domestic abuse and of course violence in the home is going to be the focus of our discourse today. We want to know, at what point did we get it this bad? What are the signs? Well, there must have been signs, but somehow we just look the other way to say, okay, it's going to get better. Sometimes you get maybe a woman is being abused in her home or in a relationship before they even got married, where they were courting, they were dating. Yeah, she was being abused by the man before they got married. But when you tell her, are you not going to leave? She say, no, he would change after marriage. He would change after marriage. And they get into marriage and voila, she cannot live again. She says it's for better, for worse. Her mother tells her that, nah, so it be. You will get to grow to love him like that and everything. Anyhow, we'll get to talk about this, and we'll get to also know your opinion and your thought about this topic. That's the focus of what we're talking about today. My name is Cecile Egbeli, and I have two friends with me in the studio, and together we'll talk about this. Let's start with the lady in blue. I'm talking about Fumi Ajari. Fumi Ajari, welcome.
Thank you very much, Cecile.
Yes, Fumi is the Chief Operating Officer of Helpline Foundation. Thank you once again for coming around.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's meet my next guest. Looking all sitting pretty in the blue, in a pop. That's pink. Pink. Okay, no, there's so many shades of pink these days. Colors these days, we don't know. All right, and that's Tosin Shosonya.
Shosonya.
Tosin, thank you very much for coming around. Tosin is a relationship and mindset coach. Mindset coach. When I saw that, I said mindset, like you're supposed to help me shape, direct my thoughts pattern,
Yeah, because your life is set the way your mind is set.
Your life is set the way your mind is set. Okay, I guess as we get in this conversation, you tell us how those in abusive relationships can help reset their minds to live healthier lives. All right, so let's go way back. How did our parents manage to do this? I know, but seriously, you see them celebrating 50, 35 and everything, and I really don't know if it's some of them never really dated that long, maybe just arrange family to say, now this family is good, or if you go to Simbi's daughter is also blah blah blah, something like that. They get married and they live 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and wonder. But today, hardly 2 years after, 3 years after, can we stand each other? How did our parents do it?
Okay, I like to say that our parents, at that time, there was absolute respect. People respected themselves, and they have people in authority that they respect, the parents of the spouse. They respected the spouse, and they also have extended family members that they are accountable to. So many times, by the time one or two people call you to order, you fall in line. But I won't say that there wasn't a case of abuse, in my opinion. I believe there probably was, but it wasn't termed abuse because they figured it's one of those things. But now we have the generation of Sorosuke. People are now speaking up. That's why it looks like it's more rampant. At that time, people were taking the pain, bearing it, especially women, for the sake of the children, or because they didn't have option, or they didn't even know better, or they didn't even know it was abuse. They just probably thought it's one of those things.
That's part of what marriage is about.
But these days we have the microwave generation that whatever it is, you want to spark out, you want to blow it out, and then it's social media is even there to let it go. How many people are you going to tell? Can't cry. How far can it go in those days? You understand? But now the social media to tell the world in split seconds. So I guess that's why it looks like it's more rampant now.
Tosin, Fumi, do you agree?
Yeah, to a large extent. I'll just add to what she said. Expectations now differ. Yeah. Because back then, it was expected. Like, I think when our parents, our mothers, our grandmothers,
when they were betrothed off to another family. They tell them, you're going there to procreate, you're going there to make children for this family, and then you're going there to take care of them. So that expectation had been built in her. So she knows that this is my duty, this is my responsibility, this is the role I have to play. And like she said, there were series of abuse going on then, but it was just a normal thing. But these days the world has changed. We as women, we now have more expectations. We expect more of ourselves. We now expect to progress in our career. We now expect to be able to give back to the society. We want to be able to talk in the chief's palace, then in the king's courts. You had to hold a very special, in my culture, you'll be an iyalode or an iyaloja or somebody to be able to speak at the king's court. But now our opinions are beginning to matter, and so the expectations have changed. But the issue is not the expectations that we now have. The issue is how we're able to manage these expectations with the roles where we ought to play in the family. So,
I know in some cultures, you get there are some names. Maybe you give your child a name to say, it's because of this child I'm managing and remaining in this marriage. What's it called in Yoruba? I don't know. There must be some names like that.
Yeah, there were names like, I'm sorry, I think names like Adelaja will tell you, this child was born after the parents had issues and they were reconciled. Those kind of names just tells a story and makes us know that indeed there were things going on. There were instances where the mothers had felt, I'm done with this man, I'm not doing it again. But the thing with it then was, when they pack their things and go back to their father's house, their fathers and the rest of the family would be saying, there is no space here. So I think probably when they see that, there is violence involved, they'll probably take her in. But immediately you see the elders of that family call on the elders of the other family. Like she said, marriage then was an institution that involved families. Yeah. So most often, from what we know, because we were not there, but from what we understand, they will not even, the conversations they had was not even in the level of the couple. It would be the father or the uncle or the elder in the husband's clan coming to beg the wife's family, or giving outright instruction to the man to say, look, you have to do this, or giving punishments to say, you have to go and till these hectares of land in the parents' family because you did this. So the level of conversation was different. And because there were more people involved, even though now, these days, what we are told is, it's just between you and your husband. The marriage is between you and your husband.
Yes.
Don't go and, you understand?
Yes.
So, but I think because there were different people, two good heads being better than one, there were different people bringing in their experience and opinions. They were better able to manage
they could also have been better able to tell her that, you have to manage like that to, that is how it is. You always beat you in a normal thing, and you just get to live with it like that, like say the Sorosuke generation.
Yeah, I also want to add to what she said. That, the dynamics of this generation have also changed in the sense that there's more pressure, there's increased pressure. You can't rule that out. The pressure, the societal pressure, the financial pressure, economic pressure, the environment is traumatized. People are more traumatized. So I think that also comes to bear in this generation. And a lot of people are not emotionally aware, which I figure, and I think that before you get into marriage, along with all the other tests that you should be doing, you should do a psychological test.
Psychological test. Okay, just pause it there. Okay, but we'll pick up from there. All right, we're going to take a feature break now. This is going to set like a backgrounder. It's going to give us a big picture of most of what we'll be talking about today. You can be part of this conversation by reaching us on our phone line 081 177 82020. The number is showing on your screen is a WhatsApp and text only number. Tell us your thoughts about domestic violence, domestic abuses in relationships. And if you'd like to contribute on marriages of then and now, why is it that we are recording more abuses these days than it was recorded in the past? You want to share your opinion or just tell us what you think about domestic abuse. We'd like to hear from you. Text messages and WhatsApp only. All right, let's have this background feature and then I'll be right back.
say, when we get married, things will change. But does it change after the marriage? There have been an increasing number of love of someone's life becoming the death of their life. The death of Asinachi Nwachukwu, one of Nigeria's leading gospel singers who was allegedly murdered to death by her husband, has elicited nationwide outcry. The story of Biliamini Bello, who was allegedly stabbed to death by his wife, Mariam Sanda, adds to the growing statistic of victims of domestic violence in Nigeria. Many are subjected to inhuman and violent treatment at the hands of their partners. Unfortunately, the actual number of these victims remain largely unknown. Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency revealed that 4,860 domestic and sexual violence cases have been recorded from September 2021 to July 2022. 11 women died from domestic violence incidents in 20 months. In Kano State, 4,000 cases of sexual violence were documented in the last 5 years by Wanaka Sexual Assault Referral Center, a civil society organization working in the state. While in River State, more than 700 complaints of violence against women in 2 months were reported in the state by the state chapter of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA. From Plateau State, a total of 288 cases between January and June 2022 was recorded as released by the Plateau State Coordinator of the National Human Rights Commission. There have been domestic violence cases across all cities and towns of Nigeria, some ending brutally in death, while some abusers are sentenced to lifetime in jail or proportionate penalties. Many other culprits have escaped justice. This epidemic knows no socioeconomic status, background, religion, gender, or nationality. Research shows over 50% of African women experience beatings from their husbands at one point in their union or another. This happens when women go out without permission, neglect the children, talk back, refuse intimacy with the man, or burn the food, among other reasons. One wonder, do the victims really pay attention to those little details that later become the big problems? But in many cases, an abuser usually appears affectionate and perfect at the initial stage of the relationship, but gradually becomes more aggressive and controlling as the relationship continues. Their tools for operation include fear, guilt, shame, and intimidation of their victims. Several questions are begging for answers. What happened to the penalties for domestic abuse as provided by the Constitution? Any progress from the structures and institutions in charge of putting these abusers in check? What impact has media and other campaigns against domestic violence had in Nigeria? Should people continue to fold their arms and live with this normal, or should their voices be louder than their actions, especially when women are the most casualties? Aside from the psychological, emotional, and physical trauma victims suffer directly at the hands of their abusers, some go through a series of social stigmatization and dissociation in their community. To avoid cases of stigmatization and labeling, some would prefer to continue to suffer in silence. Hence the phrase, domestic violence exists in a culture of silence.
Indeed, domestic violence. Yeah, so maybe that I would agree with what Tosin talked about earlier when she said that it's possible that there's been abuses in these relationships of the past, but it continues because no one speaks. But now this is the Soke generation and everybody is speaking out. Maybe it's even causing more harm, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, maybe people are speaking too much. It's possible that young people of these days are very impatient. That could also be a problem. Because you know that everybody seems to know your rights. Everybody wants to, at any little argument, you want to pick your bag and leave, you want to shout, you want to go to social media and post it, and just go all around the place. Don't you agree?
Yeah, there's a higher level of intolerance these days.
Yes, so why?
Because we're more entitled, just like she said. people are now more entitled. People now feel like I deserve more. I want more. You should do more for me. Let me give you an instance. I know it sounds like a joke, but I've seen on social media, I'm sure we may all have seen it, the lady that kept complaining that her husband is unfair to her because he wouldn't wash her panties that she had stood for 3 days.
Okay, I didn't see that, but you're joking, right?
I'm not joking.
Okay.
It was viral on social media. She was actually ranting to the world that her husband is unfair, he doesn't love her, doesn't show her care because she soaked her own panties for 3 days and he refused to wash it.
Entitlement.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think communicating.
That doesn't rule out that some people are really suffering.
Yes.
I'm just saying that also exists.
Communication.
Well, communicating, and then when communicating is done right, it means you've taken it from one channel, the originating channel, to the next channel that you intended. And for me, I always ask, what is the purpose of this conversation you're having? What is the purpose of this Sorosoke? Is it just to make noise? Is it to chase clouds? Or is it actually to find solutions to whatever the issues are? Coming from the standpoint of the work that we do at Helpline Foundation, we've had instances where there are victims of domestic violence, and when I say victims of abuse and domestic violence, you will be shocked at the kind of people. It is not always that this person is an illiterate, or because this person cannot get what they want, or because this person is financially, even though the core of our work is focusing on economic empowerment for them, because we believe that if a woman is economically empowered, it will be difficult for you to subject her to certain levels of abuse. But you will still find those who have economic empowerment but are still subjected, to abuse. So that's why I like to ask, yes, so it's okay, everybody's talking, but who are you talking to? Are you talking to people who will just retweet, repost,
Online in-laws,
like they call them? Or are you actually talking to people who, for instance, are professionals, can help you understand what the problem is, can help you profess solutions and try to resolve the issues, can help you identify your own faults, and try to, so yes, everybody is talking, but we must be sure who are we talking to and why are we talking
Well,
about
sometimes, in as much as we know that many times we take this thing to online in-laws and everybody dissect and bisect it, and suddenly it helps you, it causes more harm to the union than you had it already. Sometimes it has also, in a few cases, maybe it has also helped the crying party to actually better themselves. But we'll talk a little more about some of the instances of the cases you might have handled, so that we can get a clearer picture. But I like taking it from the beginning. When we were dating, were there some signs to say this lady is abusive? What are the red flags that one might have overlooked, or maybe to feel like, was the person have been such a perfect actor that I never got to notice it? But let me quickly take some messages. I try to take as many messages as I can. All right, our phone number once again is 081-177-82020. Join the conversation. Send us a message or WhatsApp. Sammy from Delta State said, I like your program and encourage that you keep it up. Thank you very much. And who is trying to call me? Nope. My name is Ibrahim Cosmos from Kogi State. On the topic in context, I see courtship and lack of psychological tests as some of the causes of domestic violence today. The only solution is to speak out when such issues are detected. To some women, they should not rush into marriage because they are always at the receiving end, and our religious leaders have a lot of roles to play. Okay, many times religious institutions also make you feel like, you cannot leave, take for better, for worse, don't worry, they do all the counseling, and he goes and changes a little and comes back. All right, so who is this? Good day, Cecil and the guest. I think one thing that leads to domestic violence is lack of compatibility between couples. We should not love with sympathy, compassion, or pity, but love with full empathy. Become who you love because you truly are them and them you. When it comes to relationship, I do look for myself. Tell me about that psychological test you're talking about.
Okay, so I used to say that when two people, even if they are not madly in love with themselves, when they are morally upright and they have sound mind, they will cohabit successfully. Love is another game entirely, but they will live successfully.
What ingredients did you just say?
People who are morally upright and are
sound-minded, morally upright. Okay, wait, the person is morally upright. Yeah. We'll raise his hands.
Yeah. The simple rule of love your neighbor as yourself. What you won't take, don't give to other people. You understand that? Like, what I don't want to be insulted. Why should I insult you? I don't want to be undermined. Why should I undermine you in the relationship?
Yeah, but many times it's easier said because
that's why I said that if that's the condition.
So I have to go searching for someone who
have a little bit of what they call home training. Do you understand? Home training. Let's leave that at that. Then psychological test that you talked about. With all that is going on, I can say, don't quote me, it's not scientifically proven, but we have over 80% of people who are traumatized in Nigeria. Everybody's traumatized. If it's not fuel scarcity, it is market issues. Have you been to the market lately?
I'm afraid of going.
Inflation.
Inflation is crazy. If you're not careful, you're going to be edgy. You're going to have panic and anxiety or that just going to the market. You're going to transfer that to somebody else if you don't know how to deal with it. You have pressure at work. You have pressure even in your religious organizations. There's pressure everywhere.
So it transfers.
Sometimes it is transferred aggression because people don't know how to manage stress.
Okay. I said this to a couple of friends before. I was attending a wedding. We were in church already, waiting for this wedding to start. We've been singing and talking and everything. The officiating minister was just there waiting. This is 30 minutes after the time to start. Then someone comes behind and whispers to him and says the marriage will no longer hold. So I was all worried, like, what happened? So we later understood that the young man had beaten up the bride, I think the night before or that morning of the wedding. So the parents withdrew their consent.
Okay.
So I now wonder, did he just suddenly become that monster? He must have been doing that while they were courting, dating and everything.
Yeah.
But those red flags, she felt, okay, maybe the makeup is really better and she just looks away and just feels like it will change. But this time the parents saw it and they felt like, no, we can't do this.
So somebody also said, and I quote, your courtship, if dating, whatever name you give to it, is your IT. And the real thing, the work experience, is in the marriage. Just like somebody also said that courtship reveals the best, marriage reveals the rest. So whatever thing you see in courtship, good or bad, the rest of it will manifest in the marriage.
Okay.
So like you said, the red flags are there. Does he shove you? Does he talk down at you in public? Does he discount your feelings? Does he make himself or herself feel superior? You know, some people intentionally try to make themselves superior. Do they have childhood traumatic experiences? Are they coming from a broken home? I'm not saying these things to stigmatize people, but just for people to realize that I need help.
Okay.
So that you don't transfer your baggage onto someone else.
Yeah, for me, I would like to get to a position, but I would quickly like to add to what you said. I think dating, you say that there is dating, courtship, then marriage. I think dating is IT. Courtship is NYC. The marriage is very good. Let me hear from you.
See, for me, it still boils down to communication. You see, all that period of dating and courtship and, all of gaining all that experience is a time where we all need to sit down and communicate our expectations to each other. I really don't like to judge people, because sometimes until you hear the stories of some of those victims or some of the participants in a violent relationship or in a domestic abuse, that's how you understand that sometimes some of these people were watchful, some of these people were not even trying to condone anything. And I'm not saying maybe the abusive partner was being was acting, like you said earlier. It's just that sometimes the dynamics change. Sometimes before you get into a marriage, somebody is nice. I'm not discounting, I'm not disregarding the fact that it is important to look out for these red flags. Because sometimes the person, he or she may not even be aggressive towards you as the partner. But how does this person treat other people? How does this person treat their own mother?
Their dogs.
Or you understand, how does this person treat their co-workers, their colleagues, or their staff? It will give you an idea of who this person will really be when he or she lets down his or her guard. You know, and when, like I was talking about communication, when you have communicated your expectations, it is easy to hold each other to account, to say, maybe when something is going wrong, it is easy to say, oh, we talked about this. This is not something that I'm hoping we will have in this relationship. This is not something that we both agreed that this is not how we're going to be resolving issues. We both agree that when there is something we talk about it. We both agreed that you're not going to be shouting at me. We both agreed that you won't be, I don't like noise in my
communication.
house. So communication, basically, it helps for me. It helps solves a lot of issues. And see, we must understand before I end this, we must understand that marriage, two people from two different backgrounds are coming together.
Yes.
We're human beings, we're not the same. We have conflict is an essential part of our lives, and that's the way it was just designed. But we must, learn to understand.
For me, let's take a few messages and then we'll take a break. We'll go on the next break. There are so many messages, really so many messages coming in, and we'll try to spring our conversation for some of this. Good day to you all. I'm Ifoma from Abuja State. I'm learning a lot on this program as my elder sister was a victim of domestic violence, and it was as a result of her ex-husband's family not accepting her because of reasons best known to them. Thank you very much for such an amazing topic. Marriage is about families, so when one family don't accept you, you have to. I don't know what to say about that. My name is Chinedu for Benin Republic. Okay, I think I've taken the guy from Benin. Okay, have I taken it? Chinedu from Benin Republic. My question to your guest is, why is it that the marriage dated couple have more problem? The marriage dated couple have more problem or have divorce more than people who doesn't. Oh, she said that, I think he's trying to say those who never really dated so much don't seem to have as much problem as those who, I don't know, maybe, Chinedu, please send your message again so it will be a little clearer. I don't get it. Alright, who is this? Good afternoon, Ma'am Sunset. I want to encourage my fellow women to learn to walk away irrespective of what people and families say. I'm a single mother of two. I'm literally hungry and starving to train them, but I'm happy to be alive. Only God knows what would have happened to me and even the children if I had not left the time I did. Secondly, for women going through domestic violence to easily walk out, we need to get assistance from our fellow human being instead of them laughing at us. This is Blessing writing from Kogi State. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry, Blessing, that you had to go through that. But it's good to know that you are alive and well. Let's take this next thing you're going to see now is a skit. Some of the Medley crew members and friends will put this together just to at least sell the message of what we're talking about, domestic violence in relationships.
Yes. Go now, boss. This time, I was cooking and
here when he was working. Outside, and I'm very sure my neighbors know me. He's going to change, but the thing is, he buys gifts for me. He buys beautiful gifts for me, and most times I don't know, but whether he loves me, he's going to change. I want him to feel. I know it's not always easy, but for how long will you continue with this? Is it for better? Worse. This might be my worst. I know it's not going to last. It's really temporal, and my love for him is going to overshadow whatever it is he's doing right now.
This man, you need to win this match by 2. I don't know. They have to win this match. They've been playing around. What do you think? Man, you have to win this match. What are you saying?
I said anyhow.
You have to win, not anyhow. Are you not supporting me?
I'm supporting you now.
Are you okay? Are you okay? What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this much thing you really want to win?
When I watched that, I wondered. I mean, some little triggers, like there's a little little too much salt in the food, or the dishes, my clothes. I mean, such little things can cause to serious violent acts. I mean, that's sad, but I also want to thank the crew for putting that together. There's another part of this I would like us to talk about. Maybe we'll flip it a little. 1 or 2 persons have sent a message. And yes, just so you know, I tried to get a male coach on set. But unfortunately, he's out of town. I just got a message this morning, so I couldn't get him on set. So I'm sorry. But nonetheless, you discussed. So you would agree with me that men are also abused in relationships. Well, maybe they are strong. Maybe there might be other ways that they have been abused psychologically. I don't know. Tell us.
So there are different kinds of abuse. There's domestic violence, I like to say. It can be done mentally, psychologically. It can be economically, where you withdraw money from your significant other just so that they are dependent on you to control them. You don't allow them have access. You don't let them work so that they can earn their own money, and you're not giving them enough money so that they don't look good enough. Or you just want to use it as a measure of control. For them. There's what's it called now? Emotional abuse. They may not have lifted a finger, but you make them feel the worst of themselves.
I'll give you
rob them of every human dignity that they have. When you have visitors, you wash them down. When they talk, you make their opinions look like it doesn't count. Yet you use that idea to profit yourself. You understand? When they tell you something that matters to them, you make them look like they're insane, like they're the only ones that have a problem.
Okay, emotional abuse.
There's emotional abuse, and then you can also have what's this other one now? Verbal abuse, of course.
Verbal abuse. Oh, that's popular. That's
very popular, especially from the women folk. If you can't fight with your hands, you can fight with your mouth. You know. and then you can rain all kinds of abuses and all kinds of things to people. So there are different kinds of abuse out there. But I from this drama, I like to say that the trigger does not necessarily have to be what happened. For me, I think it's the person. It's the who and not the what. Because I think this guy particularly needs some form of counseling and some form of psychotrauma healing. I think he's dealing with issues, or it's practically not mentally balanced for him to be triggered with every little thing.
So wait, those guys that are bullying in school, do they turn out to be that guy?
They could be. And some have been taught from home that the way you exercise your control or your power as a man is through your fists. I've seen a little boy trying to beat a girl because he says, my daddy said that's how I show I'm a man.
For me, I would like to hear it from you. If this should bring us to how abusers are created, how do we have abusers in our society? I think from the home, growing up, the things that are said to us, the things that we hear. Oh, look at you. You're a girl and you don't even know how to cook. Oh, look at you. Is that all you can offer? Look at you. Come on. How can you allow a girl to be talking to you and you just keep quiet? All of those kind of things that you say to children begins to form. Through those things that they hear, they begin to form their personality and then their character. And that's what they bring into the relationships that they get into. That's why when Tosin was saying, people from broken homes, for example, you understand. And I'm not trying to be stereotypical here, but there are two things that will happen. It's either you've seen your father or your mother abusing the other one, and they are telling yourself, oh, I don't want to be this person. And you work intentionally to build yourself, heal yourself of that trauma, and then go into your own relationship a better person. That is one. Secondly, the victim, that child that has seen this norm, that has seen this thing happen and is beginning to see it as naturally, grows up and feels, oh, I'll do better. But because they have not worked on themselves, they have not tried to heal, they have not tried to unlearn the things they have experienced in their own family growing up, they take that character into the relationship that they get into, and they become that person. And I also just want to add that really it is funny how we always think that it's only women that are being abused. Yes. The husband is abused sometimes. Yeah. The child.
Let's talk about the husband. How is the husband abused? Very quickly. Physical?
I was having a conversation with one of my friends, Mary, the other day, and she has this passion for the boy child, and she just kept talking about how, because society has so defined what is expected, how we should react to situations, men don't find it easy to talk. Well, now it's easy for a woman to come out to say, my husband is abusing me. Because everybody, before you even hear the actual story, before you hear the fact of the matter, your first instinct is, oh, she's the weaker vessel, let's rally around her. You understand. But when a man comes to say, my wife is abusing me, I beg, go sit down, which kind what if they talk like this now? Woman push you. You understand. But there are men who genuinely are being hit. Are being hit physically by their wives, being emotionally abused, being deprived of emotional encounters, being deprived even of finances. I'm sure you've heard that saying. A lot of African, and it's one thing we are trying to also change. A lot of men will say, oh, you go they allow your wife, make she go they work, she'll earn more money than you, and then she'll start bullying you in the house. That point is very valid, even though it's not everybody, because there are women who will say, oh, because I have more earning power now. Hey, Mr. Man, so come here, what are you? The man cannot even talk. In the presence of the kids, you hear, come, I'm talking to you. Can we pay your school fees? Can we feed you? I'm feeding everybody in this house. I'm doing this. And then that alone is traumatic for the man. You understand? And so all these issues are two-sided. I don't want us to have this conversation and just say, and then even for did I say two-sided? In fact, three-sided. Because even for the children.
Okay, we'll take that of the children when we get back. So now we understand that the men can actually be abused. It could be physically. Maybe you're just a man. You are a man who grew up from a home where your father respected your mother. You marry this lady who is hitting you, but you know that you're not supposed to hit back, and you just. And sometimes we see some men. They stay out in beer parlors or some places. They say, good, I can't go house. I don't go home now to this wahala and everything. I don't know. Are you that woman? You might want to think about it. See a psychologist, see a therapist. You know, you can get some help there. I will take so much of a message when I get back. But let's take this conversation back to the part where we talked about marriages of the old and marriages of now. Let's have a look at how these worked and why we seem to have more marriages these days not lasting so long.
When it comes to marriage, we see that those who we call the silent generation, baby boomers, and even Generation X celebrate milestones like 25, 30, 40, 50, and even 60 years in. This may be attributed to factors like wives' utmost respect for their husbands and will go to any length to please them. Women were tolerant, timid, and trained to take all that happened in marriage as normal. Divorce was never an option. Family background was more important than financial background. Even though in many cases there were hardly courtships like we have today, they learned to grow in love and raise a family. For some women who were abused in the marriage, the fear of rejection by their own family made them remain. Also, many bore all that happened because of the children involved. Fear of the unknown from a financial perspective, especially when the man is the sole winner of the home and assists his wife's family financially, is another factor. Another reason for long-lasting marriages are cultural and religious expectations, where divorce or separation is frowned upon. Lack of information about legal options available, especially when either of the spouses is being molested or abused either mentally, emotionally, psychologically, or physically. Or it may just be the resilience of love the couple shared that carried them through the years of ups and downs. In the past, wives were quick to apologize to their spouses when disagreements occurred. Another possible reason for lasting unions in the past is that families matchmake the couple and see to it that the marriage lasts. Fast forward to the millennials and the Gen Zs, whose concept of marriage is different, bold and daring. Many see marriage as contractual, the reason why some get divorced as soon as they are married. Courtship for those within this age bracket can be as short as 1 month and as long as several years. Unlike those of the older generations, the union here is usually not an arrangement between both families. Sustaining the marriage becomes challenging for several reasons, like lack of communication between partners, refusal to accept and accommodate extended families, sudden loss of finance, breach of trust by a partner usually attached to infidelity, lack of friendship at the foundation of the relationship, inferiority complex, and physical or emotional abuse. Today, the vows and promise of a lasting union together, taken on the day of the joining, may just be another set of rituals, considering the rates of abuse, separation, and divorce recorded. Despite the challenges recorded, many marriages today are successful, lasting, and loving. For those challenging ones, take a moment, have a conversation, talk to a therapist, go on a vacation, and rebuild a union on trust and friendship.
Friendship, yes, build your relationship on trust and friendship. You know, many times they say friendship is what sustains it. Maybe, okay, now I'd like to get your opinion very quickly on that. I mean, love and friendship in a relationship. What would you? People say the basis should be friendship. Some say love. I don't know. Let's just get your thought for me. Take.
See, I can't even love you if we're not friends. So I don't know how to separate these two. You know, when you're friends, you can discuss your weaknesses as well as your strength. A friend is someone who will look you in the eye and tell you, look, what you did here is wrong. And you being a receptive friend of that kind gesture, you should be able to understand that this person is not trying to condemn me, rather this person is trying to make me a better person. So you look at the issues that have been raised critically, you pick what your faults are. Like she said, it is the point when the person begins to make you feel less of yourself, you know, or the person begins to make you feel like, no, you're not normal, see what you're saying, you know, that's the point where you need to be worried. But if somebody is opened enough to tell you, oh, I think these are some weaknesses that you have and you need to work on that, I mean, that's what friends do. And for me, friendship is because you see this thing called love. Sorry, Cecil, you see this thing called love, because I've been married for over 19 years, and there are days when you wake up and you don't even love your spouse. And honestly, I'll just be like, today is not the day to love you, but do we stop being friends? No. You understand? So this thing called love, the way we judge the mushy, well, I don't know.
Okay, I'll let you hear from you. You know, maybe there is the girl has this guy as well. My guys. You know, you don't friend zone this guy, so you guys come. It's kind of go to tell everything and everything. Yeah, and then this other guy that is saying that, damn, babe, you've got the right cups in the right places. I like your whole red, thing and all that. So you now feel like, okay, this is the one that is they take on to mama. Whereas the other guy is your friend, may not necessarily be the one. I don't know. I does not fit into.
Let me.
Okay.
When I was growing up, can I speak Yoruba? I'll say it in English.
I say.
One of the common things you hear from elderly people was, "Ma focus your boyfriend." Don't use your husband to be boyfriend. Because if you're not marrying your friend, who wants to marry your enemy? It's your friend who gets you, who knows your nuances, who knows the smell of your fat, that can be there for you when you have accidents or you're crippled. But the one that married you for the curves in the right places, the day you don't have those curves anymore, he's looking for the next curve. If he's not disciplined or he doesn't have his own whatever, you understand? Your friends who understand your boundaries. This guy who wants you for, let me say, just for physical or for carnal reasons, doesn't understand boundaries. He wants what he wants. You know, somebody I respect so much said to me yesterday that most times man marries a woman for a need. That's why you see a lot of men date lots of girls. But when they want to marry, they go to the village, they go to the church, they go to the mosque to marry a woman that can keep the home. That is the need. Not because, most times, not because they're their friends, but there's always an exception to every rule. So the thing is, this guy that is all over me, am I meeting a need? Which is not so bad, but beyond the need, do I matter to him? When I don't have anything to offer, would I still mean something to him?
Oh, that's serious. That's deep. Let's take a few messages here. Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mrs. Oliver from Lagos. I'm a victim of domestic violence. Before, on the day I confronted my husband, when next he lays his hands on me, I'm going to kill him, he stops beating me. Ooh. Okay. She actually threatened him, please. But I hope that thing wasn't true. You are not planning to kill him. But I'm good to know that he stopped beating you, and thank God for you. Who is this now? My name is Charles from Imo State. Greetings to you all in the studio. I'm glad that such a program is being aired on TV, because this needs to be said and heard by those married and those about to have a nice day. Yes, really. Those about to get married should actually listen to this, because you just cannot, you don't know where some kind of good advice would come from. All right, who is this? Add to what you people are talking about, that some women can be very rude. So women naturally, add to that what you mean we are talking about. Some women can be very rude. So women naturally, when they are on relationship, they will hide their character. The same thing with some men, so that when they get married, everything will come out completely and the man will not be happy with it. I think this is what we'll talk about. One can really never really pretend. Can one really pretend throughout?
And so the thing is, no, it depends. I've seen people who met today and after 3 weeks to get married. What would you know in 3 weeks? What would you know? I don't have a specific time for courtship or dating. But my question is, before you get married, are you matured enough? I'm not talking about age here. Emotionally, financially, psychologically, in every other way, even spiritually, are you matured enough to handle marriage? You understand? Then this person you're getting to know, the truth is you can never know everything about the person. Even if you date a person for 10 years. But if you live with them for 3 days, you probably know more than you have known in 10 years. You understand? If you're just dating. But have you even gone out enough with them to know who they are? I find it very difficult, to comprehend when people tell me that I've been in courtship with this guy for a whole year and I've never been to his house. I've never seen his parents, I've never seen his family. What are you doing with him for a whole year? And you don't even know any member of his family, except his friendship with benefits. But if you're telling me that he's somebody you want to marry, and you don't know anything about him other than you meet at Kingston Joe or Mr. Biggs or whatever works for you.
That is a recipe for disaster.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know. Unless for me has a different opinion to that. I will just pause that quickly. Let's take a few messages and then we'll go on the streets. I like your program. God bless you. My older sister is a victim for 12 years now.
Wow,
that's a lot.
All right, let's go on the streets and get your opinion on this topic. Then we'll get back to talk about it. 12 years. That's forever.
Our parents used to be more patient with their wives. No matter how they treated them, they endure it. But the people of nowadays, they no longer endure like our forefathers. And I think with this reason, if you compare, you will see the difference. Why the marriage of this time do not last like that of our forefather.
Women these days actually love flashy things, luxury life, you understand. So they all want to get money, and the current person they are dating now, if he's not to the standard and they get to meet someone that can provide that for them, they will just move. But during our olden days, our moms, our grandparents, they can endure. As of then, there's no iPhone 12, iPhone 14, there's no Lexus and all the rest. They all do is farm work and all the rest of it. So I think our economy is actually contributing.
Most of those olden days people, they tolerated so many things. Like for example, maybe a man has 200 naira, give to the wife, and maybe that was the last money he had. The woman will like, oh, this is the last money you have. Okay, let's share it. But this day generational woman, now even 5,000 naira, though it's not our fault, because the money for the market is something else also. Because if you want to buy meat, you want to buy fish, you want to eat good soup, you will spend money.
But our mothers, that's why you see them celebrate 30 years, 40 years, 50 years in the marriage, because of the woman know how to control the house. That's why you see them, but not that man is holy or perfectly, but the issue of it that is a woman, he holds the house and they know how to control the house. That's why you see them stay longer in the marriage and celebrate together 50 years, 60 years in marriage. But the very hard in our own ages now, very hard, very little hard.
I actually saw something online, they posted it, so she was wrong, but everyone was just supporting her for the fact that she is a woman. Not pointing out that some things she's not supposed to do and some things you're not supposed to bring online. It's family affair. Sort it out yourself. Try to handle it at home. Not bring it up on social media for people to tell you one thing or the other. Definitely you get different opinions, and using it, trust me, you scatter your home. So I think that's what's contributing it.
Found themselves, any husband they found themselves, they enjoy it. They go to farm, come back, and still do what? Cook for the man, wash his clothes. But this time around, the one will tell you, I'm not your slave, I'm not your house girl.
Actually, I think it's they think they want to be boss of their own. They don't want to stay under a man anymore because they think they can work, they're educated, they can go to, they can actually apply to any company, they have the money. Most of these women make more income, make more money more than their husband. So for the fact they want to do something, the husband will tell them, don't do it. They'll think, he's actually telling me what to do. Meanwhile, I'm contributing a lot to the family, to the children, education, and the rest. So they think it's better they stay on their own. Since one, they make the money, they can pay the house rent, they can fund the bills and the rest. So
your thoughts? Yeah, that's your opinion. Different strokes to say for different folks. Ladies, I really would love to ask you more questions. Like I see many more questions are coming in. One of our frequent writers, Sister Benedicta Uberiase from Edo State, I see your messages. I see many of your messages from all around the country and all those watching us online out of the country. But I'm sorry, I can't take your messages anymore. You can actually get to watch this episode of the program on our NTA series on YouTube, which is NTA series. You just go on YouTube and you get to watch. You're gonna watch it after now. It's showing on your screen. All right, I'll take your last words from you, ladies, before you go. For me,
no marriage is the same. So don't try to mold your marriage after. Find out what works for you. Find out your own truth and then just try to live by it. And for those who are experiencing one sort of violence or the other, 12 years is too long a time to stay in a violent or an abusive relationship. Your life is more important. Those who will say, "Oh, I'm waiting because of my children." If you are not here,
what would the church say?
First, stay alive. Stay alive. Yeah.
All right, Tosi.
Okay. I'll conclude with this first law of motion that says that an object at rest or emotion continues in that state unless acted upon by another force. What I'm trying to say is that people or things don't just change until something is done. So don't sit there and say he will change. Things will change. The signs are always there before you get married, even when you are married. Once you see the signs, seek help. Do something. It won't just change.
When you see the signs, seek help, get help. I mean, just talk to someone trusted, or get to see a therapist. I mean, they're all online. You can just check them out on different platforms. All right, Fumi Ajare, thank you very much. COO Lifeline Foundation, I appreciate you coming around. Tosi, it's nice really having you. I'm intentionally avoiding to pronounce your surname, but you're a mindset and relationship coach. Thank you very much for coming around. All right, for you, I see many of your messages. Some of you are asking that we should read your questions. We'll see what we can do about it. I'm not making any promise, but you know what? Let's do this again next week. My name is Cecil. Bye-bye.